Hi guys, Wade McMaster here. Got another video for you today. This time we're looking at Google Analytics. What we're going to be doing is actually showing you the fundamentals of Google Analytics and how it can help you find more information about your visitors on your website. Now, if you haven't heard of it before, it's a free service. It's called Google Analytics. You head to analytics.google.com and you can install it, sign up. I've got a video below showing you how to do that in the description, a link in the description. And basically, once you've signed up, you can see how many visitors you're getting each day, where they're coming from, what they're doing when they land on your website, and all this information that can help you improve your website's performance and basically, grow your online presence from there. So what we're going to do, we're going to jump to the computer. I'm going to show you the fundamentals of how it works and just where you can look to find certain bits and pieces of information. And yeah, we'll go from there. All right, let's get to it.
Okay, so we're in the computer now under Google Analytics, and you can see this is, like I said, if you haven't signed up, you will get a different page if you go to analytics.google.com, but because I'm logged in, it does take me straight to my dashboard. But basically, if you're looking to sign up, there's a video in the description below, as I mentioned earlier, and it'll show you basically what happens when you go to analytics.google.com and you want to sign up. But for now, we land on this page and we've got a summary of our website. Now, just to touch on this briefly, sometimes if you're not looking for in-depth information, you can get a lot of information from here. This is the last 7 days. I can change it to last 28 days. And you can see I've had 20,000 users, 22,000 sessions. I've got one active user right now. And you can see that most of my traffic is organic. So therefore it's Google, search engines, that sort of thing. Direct, so people are typing in the address of the website, referral, that sort of thing. So you get a screenshot of what's going on in certain aspects of your site. Active users, so how many people are monthly, weekly, daily, that sort of thing. So the frequency of certain users and how often they return. Also, you can see what times they visit. Down here we've got Sunday and Saturday are the ones with the darkest areas, so they're the ones receiving the most. Those times during the middle of the day, the ones that receive the most traffic, especially Sunday. What country they come from, primarily the United States, followed by India, that sort of thing. And you get a snapshot. Most of my users are on mobile, the other 40% are on desktop, a small percentage on tablet. This is a nice little snapshot of your website. And you can see here which pages visitors use the most, which is the top 10 Donnie Yen movies, Michael Jai White movies, that sort of thing. So that's when you land, you do get a lot of information up front, which is really handy. So, but the way it works, I'm not going to go through every single option because it's such a massive platform that the video would just take way too long. But I'll summarize and show you a few key things. You got here, down the left here, you got your reports. This is where you can go to learn a little bit more about certain areas, certain performance areas of your website. So real time is an area where you're going to see what's happening right now on your website. You can see here I've got one active user. This goes up and down throughout the day. Audience, where I learn about my audience, who they are, where they come from. Acquisition, which is where the traffic is coming from on my website. And then behavior, which shows what people are doing when they're on my website. And if you have anything set up for conversions, which I don't, you can see how people, sort of what's causing certain things to convert. So if I'm getting a lot of search engine traffic and 70% of that's converting to something, or 10% is converting to something, I can track that all here. But I haven't got this set up because I think, especially, this is just like a bit of a niche site. And if you're looking at learning the basics, it's probably a bit more of an advanced area at this point in time. But what you can do before we go any further, I've got several websites hooked up here, so I'll just show you. If you go up the top here, most of this is going to be blurred out for privacy reasons because there's a lot of customer websites on here. If I drop this down, I've got several sections here with websites. So this one's got several websites, more, and this is mine here, the one we're looking at, the martial arts website, which is the one about martial arts movies. So you click on the main group, go to the properties, and then click on the views tab, and we land on that website. So we're going to start exploring down here. As I go through each one, you'll see we get a little drop down. Even if I go here, we get a little drop down of areas we can explore. But we're going to start off with real time. Go to overview. So you see here, for a second there, we had two users. Now we've got one, and it gives us a little bit of information. At the moment, we're not really getting any information about this particular person, but they are viewing my movie guide page, which is an ebook that I sell on this website. But depending on, sometimes if I have 4 or 5 users, you can go to locations, and you'll see, well, at the moment we've got 2 users, one from the Netherlands, one from the United Kingdom. I can see that one of them has simply typed in the address to visit. The other person has actually found me on Google. So I get a nice little breakdown of what basically who each person is to a degree. Like I said, someone's looking at the movie guide. We've got I've got 3 users now. One person's looking at an Ip Man movie list, which I've put together. Top MMA movies. We got two users on mobile, 1 user on desktop, and we get like a nice little breakdown when we go through that. But most of that is on the overview. Now we've got a few visitors. We can see just in the overview, we've got the 3 visitors. That these are the pages they're on. Top locations at the moment, Amsterdam. I don't think we've got information about some of these users, but the information it collects can be limited in areas. But this information is handy. But to be honest, it's more of an interesting thing to see what's going on right now. Most of your information is going to be in these other tabs here. So the audience, acquisition, and behavior. So if I go to audience, you can see, if I go to overview, I should say, you see here, I've got, for the last week, 5,000 visitors. I can see what language they're using. And down here, this could be a quicker way than going through all of these tabs individually. But I can see what country they're from. Most of them are from the United States, then India. I can even go down to the city if I want to get really specific. I can see what browser you're using, which is probably interesting more for people who, web designers, that sort of thing. You can see what operating system they're using, Android, Windows, that sort of thing. You can even see down to the screen resolution. So if you can optimize, see most of my users are on 360 by 640, so obviously on phone. So I can optimize for the top resolution, so that way the majority of visitors who come through are going to get a good experience. But one thing you can do once you're here is you can actually change. At the moment we're 7 days. If I want to go, I can click over here and make it the last 30 days and apply. We've had 21,000 visitors in the last 30 days. If I want to see the lifetime view of the website, I'm not sure how far back you can go necessarily, but if I type in, say, 2012, actually, cancel before I do that. I'm going to actually change this to month, so that way it doesn't have to load quite as much information. So at the moment, we've just got this information here for the month. I'm going to change this to 2012 and just see if it'll take it. Click apply. You can see here where the majority of the visitors, so for this period here is when I was most active, I've got almost up to 60,000 visitors per month on this particular website. It's gone down. I had a bit of a hosting issue here where it went down for about a month. But you can see over the period since 2012, we have 1.5 million visitors. And it's pretty cool to see, you can really check out the life of the website if you want to go back that far and even go through and see sort of this information such as, language, that sort of thing, which will be much the same. So English. But yeah, you can change the date up here with this drop down to anything you want. So let's just say we'll go to the last 3 months, apply that. You can see the traffic sort of stooped a bit. That's all right. I haven't really been focusing on this website. But I'm going to change it back to daily by clicking here to day. And that's basically how you can get your overview of your audience. So you can see how many people and basically who they are by language, country, that sort of thing. You can go through, there's a few more things here, such as lifetime value, such as when people come back, that sort of thing. But we're not going to worry about that right now because we don't want to get too caught up in some of the specifics. This is a bit more of a fundamentals video. Demographics is basically the same. You get your language and your country, but you can go to age and gender. Sorry, geo is the country. But you see here, most of my users are 25 to 34. So basically, the vast majority are under 44 years old. If you look at these top 3, it gives you an idea on age. If I go to gender, you can also see the majority of my readership is male, but a decent chunk is still female. And then, of course, you can still go down here. There are interests. These are very, very vague. But if you want to explore that, you can see sort of what phones people are using, that sort of thing, and really, really break down the information about your audience just by exploring these areas here under audience. If I click that and have it come back up. So the next one we'll look at is traffic, so acquisition. For most people, you want to know how much traffic you're getting and where it's coming from. If I go to acquisition and overview, we basically get these this overview here, which shows you the top channels. So like organic search is my top referrer, followed by direct traffic, people who type in the name. Then we get people who are referred from other websites. Now, if I go to all traffic, these channels, it's basically the same information here. But if I want to get really specific, I can go down to source/medium. And so that's under acquisition, all traffic, source/medium. And it'll actually break down the individual traffic. So Google is obviously the top referrer, followed by people who punch in the name directly. Then we've got Bing, sent me 1,500 visitors this month. Yahoo sent me 1,000. And we can go down from there, and we can even go directly to the referrals. So if we want to bypass the direct traffic and the search engine traffic, I click on referrals, see which websites in particular, Pinterest, mobile.facebook, t.co, so Twitter. So people are actually on these websites and going across, I can actually track and see where they're coming from. And the other thing too is what I can do is there's a section here, social. If I click on social and go to overview, I actually track my social media. So Facebook is my top referrer, followed by Pinterest, which is funny because I don't do a lot of promotion on Pinterest, but because the website's been so popular, other people have posted a lot of stuff on Pinterest and generated traffic for me. And I can even see, if I go onto Pinterest, a bit of information about that. So you can see where people are going to the most, such as this Bruce Lee post, and then this review here. Or I can head back to overview. We've got landing pages. So I can see here, top Jason Statham movies. I've got 54 sessions there. I can even add secondary dimensions, but that's, once again, that's a bit more of a advanced feature. But if I want to find out what basically Facebook's my biggest social media network. So where is it sending me? Where is it sending my users to? The top Jason Statham movies for first. This short video. So you can really break down what's happening on your website here under social for social media. So that's all under acquisition. Acquisition's basically traffic. So overview to see where basically see where people are coming from. All traffic. Source/medium to really break it down. You can see your referrals. If you're running Google Ads, you can sort of track that if you got it set up properly. And then social for social media. So that's basically what I use mostly, but the overview of each section is really quite handy as it is. For audience, I tend to just go straight to overview. For traffic, I tend to go to overview and then straight to source/medium so I can see where people are coming from. And then I tend to go on to behavior. So with behavior, if I go to that overview, it shows me which pages are being used the most. So I can see here, top 10 Donnie Yen movies, and I can see that that's my top page. It's received 6,000 visitors. And I can scroll down. You see most of these are actually list posts, which I'm actually going to do a video on soon. So if you want to check out my channel or subscribe, that could be a handy way to help you generate more traffic. But this is basically the breakdown of my top pages, where people are going the most on the website. And that's very handy to know, because you can sort of see, okay, if most people are going here, then obviously people are interested in certain topics. Maybe I can hit them up with an offer while they're on that particular page, that sort of thing. But another interesting thing is when you go down from overview to behavioral flow. Now this is a little bit confusing, a little bit advanced, but something worth exploring. You can see where people are going when they land on your website. So this is starting off with, if I zoom in a little bit, if I start off with this Donnie Yen post, highlight traffic through here. So this is where they're starting. This is just the title of the section we're looking at, but they're starting here with the top 10 Donnie Yen movies. Now from there, a percentage of people are dropping off. That's what that red section is. But then they're going through to the home page. Some people are going through to the movie regions page. Other people are going through to this other post here. Some people are checking out my ebook, my movie guide. And you can see where people are going more like sort of most usually on from this post, which pages they visit the most. And then of course there's 57 other pages, which I can sort of go into detail here. But it shows you which pages are being visited the most from there. So that's really handy to know also, because it shows you that if my top page is Donnie Yen movies and people are going from here to this home page, then maybe I need to put a little bit more about Donnie Yen into these areas to continue the traffic on the website. So you can make certain decisions based on the behavioral flow. And once again, this site content is basically the same thing. What's really handy about this is if people are landing on your website, let's say I go to landing pages. So these are the pages people are landing on, the first page they're seeing on your website. Once again, the Donnie Yen page. This is all very similar, but not quite the same information as before. What could be interesting is your exit pages. The pages people exit from the most, which, because once again, this is the most visited page, it gets the most exits. But you can change it to, instead of the amount of exits, to the percentage of people visiting that page who exit. So once again, this particular page here has a 100% exit rate. This is a review that a lot of these are reviews, but the problem is I've only received 2 visitors, so it's not really a great metric. So you can go through, once again, I don't want to get too advanced with this, but you can sort an advanced sort of area here, so you can choose to exclude any page that, basically I'd have to look through this again, but you can exclude pages that are below a certain number to see that behavior. So, but for another video, we'll go through that in another video in the future, but this is just an area we can see information about what pages are being used the most, how many of them are landing and exiting and that sort of thing. So that's pretty handy. Site speed, I tend to use tools.pingdom.com to check my site speed. I don't really use this because I don't think it's as good an indicator, because a lot of people have poor internet and it can muddy up the numbers a bit, but it depends on how you think about it. But that's basically the fundamentals of it. We land on our audience. So we're just going to summarize here. Real time, you can see what's happening right now. Like I said before, we can go through. We can see I've got 3 visitors. That's all cool. Audience, I can go through to my overview, see how many visitors I've had, see the language they speak, where they come from, and close that one up again. Acquisition, once again, overview, I can see search engines, my primary source of traffic, followed by direct traffic where people type in the name of the website, followed by a referral from another website, social media being the smallest amount. And from there, I can go into all traffic sources / medium to see the individual sources. So Google, Bing, Yahoo, direct. From there, that's under acquisition, and then behavior to see what people are doing once they land on my website, which pages are being viewed the most, seeing where they're going from those pages, and coming up with ideas and ways to optimize my website based off that. So that's basically how you use it. Just like I said, summarize, everything's down the left here. Everything, you got your top titles, and then you can break things down by clicking on that and further exploring. But that's basically how you can get the information about your website. And one thing you should do is, obviously, it's good to see how you're performing. You can watch your traffic rate and make sure you see you're doing the right thing and be happy with your results. But it's also a good thing just to really look at the bulk of what's going on with your website and think, okay, where am I failing? What's succeeding? And make other small tweaks from there, because you can definitely improve your overall performance by looking at the big heavy hitters, the big players in your website. So using this information to improve your website is very handy. For example, before I do finish up this video, you'll see here these top list posts. Now, I talked about top list posts before. Like I said, I'm going to have a video coming out soon. So do subscribe, because this website is built on top list posts and is pretty passive. But even though it says no value here, I haven't linked up my analytics or my affiliate to this, so I don't really use this as a way of reporting the money the website has made. But you can see here, these are all list posts. Top movies, movie list, top Tony Jaa movies. I used to get 200 or 300 visitors a day with reviews and things like that on this website. Once I started writing top list posts, that's when it skyrocketed up to, I think, almost up to 3,000 at one stage. And now it's sitting, like I said, I barely touch it. It's getting about 700 visitors a day at the moment, because it's been a few years since I've been really active with it. But you can see just how well those top list posts work. And that's something I learned from checking my analytics. I can then also promote certain posts on weekends when I know people are going to be online the most. And obviously, if I want to, I can actually try to promote to Indian people more. Maybe I create posts targeted at India in the Indian language using Google Translate or something like that. So that is a very handy way to see what's happening on your website and further improve it, so that way people are using it more. So I hope you like that video. I hope it makes sense. It's a very handy tool. Like I said, it is free. But you log in, you go down the side here, you can see the sections clearly defined. Just simply go through. Even the overview is a lot of information for most people, and you can get the information you want. So hopefully that makes sense. And if there's anything you'd like to see, please leave a comment below, and we'll look at it in a future video. We'll try and break down, get more specific, and we'll create a playlist, and that way you can further explore how to use Google Analytics. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.